So you have a sense of what is going on and the trends in our population. And you can see by 2020, Pennsylvania's 60 and older population is going to be 25% of the total population, more than 3 million people. That's a good trend. I just turned 50 this year, so that's a good trend for all of us to know that we're living longer. It's also an important trend because it means that government has to focus in a much, I think, more enlightened way about how to provide care for our seniors in a challenging economic environment where government resources are becoming more limited. Because Medicare and Medicaid do present a source of funding, that does not restrict a family's ability to advocate on behalf of their loved one, and that's something that you need to think of very carefully. You don't abdicate your right to discriminate and to choose between different options for long-term care, different facilities, and also to exercise rights on behalf of your loved one in the event that you feel they're not being cared for properly. So that's a general overview of Pennsylvania's aging population. 725 nursing homes currently licensed in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Now, nursing homes are facilities that are licensed by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to provide skilled care to their residents. That is distinct from personal care homes. Personal care homes, which also have to be licensed in the Commonwealth, do have the ability to administer medications and certain types of rehabilitative therapy. But for the most part, personal care homes are facilities where the individual who goes there still has control over and the ability to manage their own what are called ADLs, or activities of daily living. However, there is assistance for those folks in personal care homes. The thing that you need to bear in mind, if you're trying to make that determination between whether or not a family member is better suited for a nursing home as opposed to a personal care home, the one distinction, in addition to the more skilled nursing care that is provided in a traditional nursing home, is that personal care homes do not have the right, nor are they even interested in monitoring someone's comings and going. And that's extremely important. So that if you have a loved one who maybe is not in the throes of a dementia or some Alzheimer's related condition, but are just to the point where they're becoming forgetful, and one of the reasons you think they need a more controlled setting is because they may lose track of their whereabouts. A personal care home may not be the best place for them. So that's just something that you have to balance. These figures, once again, and all this is set forth in the handout that we gave, gives you some sense of what a nursing home care is over the course of a year. And that figure is accurate up to date to about 18 or so months ago, that the standard cost of living in a nursing home for 12 months is, in Pennsylvania, it's a little higher than the national average. It's, $77,000 or so dollars. Here's just a bare bones explanation, and I know that we're all in this day and age so concerned about finances and what happens to mom or dad or a loved one when that decision needs to be made. There's so few of us in the population that have these huge trust funds to take care of end-of-life needs. And that's a Medicare and a Medicaid traditionally funded, that's the resource for care. The difference between Medicare and Medicaid is they're both government-funded programs. But when you go into a nursing home, or a loved one goes into a nursing home from a hospital or a skilled nursing facility, that's where the Medicare reimbursement rate applies, as opposed to Medicaid. The one thing that you have to be aware of is If you are seeking to have a loved one admitted to a nursing home, one of the problems that I see and that I try to counsel people on is nursing homes, they may tell you something different, but their strong preference is to accept Medicare eligible patients as opposed to Medicaid, because the reimbursement rate is higher. And that reimbursement rate can be, after it expires, it can be reapplied for before the end of the expiration. So the nursing home typically will say that the individual continues to need that Medicare rate of reimbursement as a function of the treatment that they're being offered at the time. The reason why that's important to people who are looking to have a loved one placed is that if a facility, they're going to ask you that, or are they in a hospital, or are they in a skilled nursing facility on their way to a nursing home? If you say no, they're just coming from home, and then there's a determination that there's no private insurance or assets to supplement that Medicaid rate, the facility may say, oh, we just don't have a bed. You need to really press them on that point. And if you suspect, or if you've heard, that it appears that there is bed availability, and otherwise it's a facility that you find attractive for your loved one, you can continue to explore that. And one of the ways to do that is to contact the Pennsylvania Department of Health. And if you register a complaint, and that's done anonymously, that facility is going to hear about it. And we all need to be advocates on behalf of our elderly. As I said, these facilities are terrific places for the most part, but they're in business to make a profit. And so we have to be vigilant, making sure that they're discharging their obligations under the law.